about a new acquisition. Just what sort of information do you have on Brandon Manning, and is there a possibility he draws in tonight?
Yeah, I talked to him this morning. He was having his pregame meal on the plane. So he's in at 12:30. He'll be good to go. He wants to play, and we're going to put him in. So both him and Petro are going to play. Joe's up from Bakersfield, and he draws in. He'll play. Yamamoto has an upper body injury, is day-to-day, and won't play tonight. So he's out. And Chris Russell's injury, he's leveled off here, so he's not going to be available until we get onto the road trip. Chason's better today, but won't begin skating until we get to Arizona.
Ken, with these two new acquisitions with Manning and Petrovic coming in, what can they do to your lineup that the other guys that left couldn't?
Well, knowing the business I've been in for feels like my whole life, it's really hard to make trades when you're in a situation that we were injury-wise. So Pete and Keith especially, they deserve a lot of credit for trying to help us here. We're sitting on long-term injuries on Sekera and Clefbaum. Clef at best is probably 3 or 4 weeks away, and we just didn't want to give up the ghost. We wanted to keep going at it here, and so we tried everything we can. What we've got right now are 2 NHL players, both who have played third pair minutes, and in some cases when the game's on the line, both have played second pair minutes. We did our background on both guys. We know both guys very well, especially Manning. And they help us keep this thing going, and all the work we've put in, we just didn't want to take another step backwards. We were struggling back there. I think everybody knew it, including the opposition, and these 2 guys are going to help us get pucks out of our zone, defend better, win one-on-ones, stuff that you need. They're going to buy us some time until the cavalry starts to come back.
Ken, you're from Edmonton, and you've been coaching here. You understand the pressures of being here. What advice can you give Alex Petrovic in that situation?
I think the thing you realize when I said this to people, I think to me this typifies not only Edmonton but Canada in general. In this country, people, and in this city particularly, people take second jobs to buy tickets. And that's how much the game means to them. They do extra things so that they can pay for hockey tickets to come to games. So there's a huge investment monetary-wise and also emotionally-wise. And I think you have to come to a clear understanding when you coach in Canada, that's what happens. And so they're invested in every game you play. They're invested in every shift you play. It's a big part of their life. And I don't want to say it was a shock for me, but when I'm sitting having breakfast and there's 20 guys discussing every player on the World Junior teams, it's a little bit of a surprise because we get to watch it from afar. And when you come in here, you understand how much this team and how much the game means to people. And I told both guys that they're lucky. They came from the West. They understand what it's like, but it's bigger than you even thought.
I don't know if you'll tell us this information or not, but...
If it's coming from you, no.
Maybe I'll get Maddie to ask it. Just how you envision using these guys, like potential pairings. Obviously, they're not here for skates, so do you play them together? Do you mix it up? Or?
I had them together last night when I went to bed, and the guy that's going to coach them had them apart and wanted to make them a bigger part of the group. So Trent won out. We're not going to play him as a pair. We're going to play him separately, and we're going to make him a big part of the group. One of the problems we've had, quite frankly, is the pair of Nurse and Larson have struggled because we've upped their minutes so much that it's exposed some things. And so we've got to kind of get more balance in our group. And there's a couple of teams that have gone this route, and it's helped a lot. And so we're going to make them a part of this thing and kind of level out the minutes a little bit more.
Manning in particular was having trouble getting traction in Chicago. Had been a healthy scratch quite a bit. What do you guys think you can unlock in this player, and what do you see his level being as potential?
Well, I think the coaching change impacted whether he played or not. And I talked to the old coach, the guy that's got gray hair, so I know what he brings. And I talked to the guy that coached him for 5 years there in Philadelphia, and I'm well informed. He's a no-nonsense third-pair guy that can build good minutes for you and plays very honest and holds himself and others accountable, which is good for us.
You don't have a lot of goals at forward, and you traded a guy with 7, so in Kajula. So what did he bring you, and how much of a hole does that leave? 7 doesn't seem like a lot, but on your team, 7 is a lot.
Yeah, I don't look at it that way. I think that it's the one position that we've got comfortable depth in is up front, and I mean depth in Bakersfield. So Joe gets the first crack, but there's 2 players down there that we're more than comfortable with that can come up. We've got 2 guys in Yamamoto and Jesse who have come in and they've contributed. So we feel like you got to give up something to get something. And I think what this conference has taught us, this is a veteran conference with a lot of experienced players. And if you cannot defend your own zone and you can't get it out, it doesn't matter what you think you can do offensively, you're never going to get the opportunity. And Jim, what we found out in the last little while since the injuries came in, we're basically dumping it out and changing. That's been our game. And we've been getting exhausted in our own zone. We've not been able to win one-on-ones to get it out. We haven't been able to handle some of the other team's pressure. And now we feel like we're better equipped to do it. And so I think we can make some of the players we have better offensively if we can spend more energy in the offensive zone.
Happened to Yamamoto, who practiced yesterday, and suddenly he's got an upper.
No, it happened in the game. He played through it in the game, but he came to practice yesterday, and it was very sore. He tried to get through it yesterday, but couldn't. So we shut him down, and then we came back today, and it was a little bit better. But it is a day-to-day injury, but he's unable to go today. Thanks.